Hey there, this is the Penny on Your Thoughts podcast, and I am your host, Penny Chason. I'm a board certified hypnotist, intuitive, and experiencer. This podcast is about tapping into your subconscious to create a more aligned and abundant life. By leveraging our subconscious, we can master our thoughts, frequency, and vibration. Fusing the conscious, subconscious, and our consciousness is the science of expansion and soul satisfaction. Each week, I'll share in-depth interviews or solo episodes. This podcast was created to share how you have the power to create infinite potential within you. It's my intention that you find this podcast empowering, inspiring, and full of possibility. Now grab your favorite beverage and let's go. Hey, it's Penny here. This episode is dropping the day after Christmas, and I realize you're probably not going to listen to it right away, but I do hope that you're taking the opportunity to catch this episode before the first of the year. Even if you don't, this episode is going to be powerful for you no matter when you listen to it, because this episode is about getting what you want out of life and the best way to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you the majority of people do not do this correctly. And it's not that there is a right or a wrong. It is because of the collective stories and experiences that we've had throughout our life. So tell me, just think to yourself, say it out loud, write it down. What is it that you want in 2024? What would you like to see happen in your life, your business, your relationships, your career, your finances, whatever it is? Now, what most people do when they think about what it is that they want, they think about setting New Year's resolutions. And to me, New Year's resolutions are not the way to go. And I'm going to share with you why. But first, there are a few different things that you can do to position yourself to be successful throughout the year, whatever it is you are wanting to co create in your life. One is you can select a word for the year. Now, I typically set the word for the year after I do this next part I'm about to share with you, but you don't have to. Some people simply get into silence and tap into their higher self. This doesn't take anything fancy. Oh my gosh, so many people think that you need a ritual, a meditation, a hypnosis, or something to tap into your higher self. And the truth is, you don't have to. You're already connected. We just have to turn down the noise and listen. And that comes from silence. If you are able to distinguish your intuition from your gut, those are two different things. A gut feeling is a nervous system response, which means there is an emotion behind it. Your intuition is matter of fact. And the majority of the time, your intuition doesn't make any logical sense for what's going on. So if you are aware of what your intuition feels like, sounds like, you want to go into silence and just go into silence with the intention of, please share with me one word that is going to help me to achieve what it is that I desire in 2024. What word describes what I need in my life to achieve this? It could be intention. It could be connection. It could be focus. It could be fun. It could be joy. It could be dance. It could be song. It could be action. Okay? It could be action. We just want to be sure not to get caught up in the doing. But just simply sit in silence and just turn inward and become aware and allow that word to flow through. Now, in a moment, I'm going to tell you how I set myself up for the year. But first, I'm going to tell you what most people do that is causing more frustration for them. It causes more shame, more guilt, more negative self talk than anything else. And that is setting a New Year's resolution. Why is this a bad thing? The majority of people who set resolutions have abandoned that resolution before the end of January. And the reason why is people are using that resolution to determine their conscious choices. Okay. Our conscious mind has very limited bandwidth. It requires that we actually think, which means our brain has to burn calories. So, what happens? We start out really good. We're incorporating all of these new habits, and then we have a really rough day. We have a stressful day. It's demanding of our time, our energy. By the time dinner time comes around, or the commute home, or time to do homework with the kids, whatever it may be, we are short tempered, we're hungry, and we just don't want one more freaking thing to think about. So, what do? We revert to our old habits, whether it's you incorporating a habit to spend some time each evening to set yourself up for success the next day in your business or career, or the time that you're going to spend intentionally with your kids or your spouse to strengthen your relationships, or the glass of wine you vowed to not have on weeknights, or the bread you promised yourself that you weren't going to eat so that you could just generally be healthier. At the end of the day, if we're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, if our brain has been making decisions all day, it is going to revert to the old neural pathways. Why does it do that? Because your brain is wired to survive or thrive. And once you've expended somewhere between 600 and 800 calories, it says, "Peace out, sister. I am done." We're just going to get into those old ruts, and we're going to travel old ruts because we don't have to spend calories actually thinking about what it is that we want to do. That's why willpower does not work. It's why resolutions for most people do not work. Now, what happens with the people that resolutions do work for? What's different there? A couple of things. Number one, they have absolute belief in their ability to achieve it. They're not carrying these stories that a resolution is a hard thing, and that, chances are they're going to fail, but this year I'm going to do it. This year I'm going to do it. Those are all stories that we carry around those resolutions. What they do is they decide. They decide, this is who I am now. I am someone who makes healthy choices. I am someone who is intentional about planning my day for success. I am someone who will be present with my children. So not only are they setting the intention, not only are they deciding, but they're using the energy of intention. And they're not saying, every night I'm going to spend 1 hour with my kids playing a game before they go to bed. Well, are you going to be able to spend an hour every night playing a game with your kids before they go to bed? Maybe not. So, what they're doing is they're saying they're going to be present. They're not locking themselves into exactly what that has to look like. And once they set this intention, they can use their will to say, okay, let me look at my schedule. What would my schedule look like to spend that time being present with my kids, and maybe to set my next day up for success, right? What does that look like? And then from there, they can be creative. But the thing is, they've decided, they've set the intention. The energy is different. It's not a fight of, can I do it or can't I do it? I've just decided I'm going to do it. And that's the way it is. In 2022, around August, I had a major identity shift. major identity shift. And I felt it within myself. People talk about quantum leaps. A quantum leap is when you set your intention and you're literally taking on the identity of the person who's already achieved that intention, and you are carrying that with you. You become a vibrational match to it, and these things begin to happen. But there's one key piece that comes into all of this that is so important. Successful people know that 70% is success and perfection is failure. If you are expecting yourself to get it perfect, if you're expecting perfection before you can move forward, if you consider yourself not accomplishing anything unless it's done perfectly, you are just cutting your legs out from underneath you from the very beginning. If in the beginning you're weak, you're incorporating these new habits, maybe it's only 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and then you're getting into allowing these things to become natural for you, that's fine. But if you miss a day and you mess up a day and you immediately go into, "I'm a failure, I can't do it, this was too hard, how come it never works for me?" If you go into that, you're not in the energy of intention, you haven't embodied the identity of it, and you are creating stories and energies around it that create resistance to achieving what it is that you want. Now, here are some ways to help make these new habits easier for you, because a habit that is not a reaction comes from repetition. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. It's conditioning. So, the easiest way is to do what's called habit stacking. And that is to take a new habit and to connect it to an already established habit. So, for example, if the new habit you desire is to drink more water, if you don't do this already, I would look at my day and say, where can I naturally drink more water? And it's not something that I have to remember to do. What I would do is before I brush my teeth, I would have a glass. Before I brush my teeth, I would drink 16 ounces of water. And I would set my intention that at each meal before I eat, I would drink 16 ounces of water. So 4 times a day, 16 ounces of water, that's 8 ounce glasses of water for you. And then if you have additional water that you sip on throughout the day, you're getting in your water. If your goal is to set your next day up for success by taking a few minutes in the evening to plan your day the next day, then whatever your bedtime routine is, start at 15 minutes earlier. And in that 15 minutes, make a list of the things that you need to do. If you do not have a bedtime routine, I highly recommend it. People who have sleep issues generally have poor sleep hygiene. They go to bed at different times of the night all the time. They don't have a wind down sequence that primes the brain to know, oh, it's about to be time to go to sleep. Let's do this. So I would take that 15 minutes and add it to the beginning of the bedtime routine and set my intention for the next day. And this does something else that's absolutely beautiful. If you get the most important things that you need to do the next day out of your head and onto paper, then when you wake up in the middle of the night, your brain is not going, oh my God, am I going to remember to do X, Y, and Z? Here's another way to make it super easy to build in new habits, and that is through self-hypnosis and or hypnosis audios. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, Penny, shouldn't I see a hypnotist? Well, if you're just creating a new habit, we're not breaking an old habit, we're just creating a new habit. you can do this yourself. You can totally do this yourself, or you can listen to an audio. Tons of um, free hypnosis audios over on YouTube. There's a website called Hypnosis Downloads. I have the Catalyst Audio Vault. So if you're looking at things around confidence and emotional release and those types of things, that's in the audio vault. I don't have just anything and everything in the vault. But here's how you simply do this for yourself. Find yourself a place where you can sit comfortably. Take a nice deep breath in, let it out, close your eyes, and then take 3 to 5 more breaths. And you're going to take these breaths in just nice, slow, steady, deep. Hold them for a moment or two, and then slowly exhale. And as you breathe in, as you breathe out, I want you to take your conscious attention to the feeling of the air going in through your nose, into your lungs, expanding your chest, and then as you exhale. And as you focus your attention on that, it begins to quiet your mind. Now, we've already talked about where you're going to stack in this new habit. Your mind only needs a few seconds to connect subconsciously to what it is you're doing. Mentally, in your subconscious, you're going to go through what your day looks like. So let's say, for instance, you're wanting to drink more water and you've decided to drink 16 ounces of water before you brush your teeth and before each of your 3 meals. I know a lot of people aren't visual. However, you have your senses of hearing, taste, smell, and touch. Use whatever sense is appropriate to you. And with your eyes closed in this state of focused, feel, see, hear, smell, taste yourself going through your day, drinking that water before you brush your teeth, before you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you want yourself to feel satisfied and excited while you're actually doing the activity. You don't want to attach the feeling to the outcome. You want to attach the feeling to the activity. And I'm going to do another podcast episode on this later. We want the act of taking healthy care of ourselves to feel better. You can do this 3, 4, 5 times a day. I totally would recommend setting an alarm on your phone for this because it's only going to take you 30 seconds, 2 to 3 minutes tops, because you can do this on repeat in your mind for 2 to 3 minutes. But take those 3 to 5 breaths, get super focused, allow yourself to see, feel, hear, taste, touch, smell the experience of actually carrying out the habit that you're adding to your life. And you only want to add 2 or 3 small habits at a time. And once those habits become ingrained, add on another new habit and another new habit, and just watch how your life changes. So, if you're catching this over on YouTube, I would love for you to comment what your intention or your word for the year is for 2024. If you're listening to this on the website, you can leave a comment, do the same thing. Otherwise, I would absolutely love it if you would leave a review on Spotify or over on iTunes. If helping people to create habits that they want in their life, or to break habits that aren't serving them, that they feel like are self-sabotaging them and keeping them from being as happy as they want to be, I want you to know that I have once again opened up hypnosis certification trainings. This is a training where not only do you learn about the basics of hypnosis, but you walk away with a process that has been proven over and over and over again to get transformational change for clients. Thousands of clients over 20 years have been through this process with hundreds of hypnotists. This is a proven system. And I remember When I learned this specific process, I was like, oh my God, if I'm ever going to train hypnotists, this is going to be the backbone of my training. So I became certified to teach this specific curriculum because I believe in helping people get real results, and I teach others to do the same. So if you have been seeking a way to help others, whether it is through who they're being, what it is that they're creating in life, removing blocks, being healthier, it doesn't matter what your specific focus is. If you're serious about getting people results, I want you to consider training with me in February. It's a 7-day intensive. Go to the website, pennychason.com/certify me. All of the details are there. Let's connect. Let's see if this is for you. And let's get you out there, making an impact and changing the world one person at a time. I'll see you next week. I hope you can feel my appreciation and gratitude for you, my listener. I would love to connect with you outside of the podcast platform. There are a few ways that you can do that. If you're not already on my email list, you can go to pennychason.com/myth and download the Big Mindset Myth PDF. Or you can go to Instagram and follow me at penny.chason. You can connect with me there. I would love to see you there. And of course, you could always head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive review of this episode. I appreciate you, and I will see you back here next week.